AITA for refusing to let my sister bring her service dog to my wedding when I know it's really her emotional support pet. I never imagined my wedding day would become a battleground, but here I am, 3 weeks from saying I do, and my family has divided into 2 warring factions. It all started when my younger sister Vanessa announced she'd be bringing her golden retriever, Cooper, to my formal black tie wedding as her service dog. The thing is, I've seen her buy the service vest online. I've watched her take him to off-leash dog parks where he jumps on strangers. He's a sweet, lovable disaster, but he's not trained for anything more complicated than giving paw. When I gently explained that service animals require specific training and suggested she leave him with a sitter for one afternoon, she burst into tears, accused me of faking my own health struggles, and stormed out. Now my mother won't return my calls. The afternoon sun streamed through the floor-to-ceiling windows of the bridal boutique, casting golden rectangles across the plush cream carpet. I stood on the raised platform in front of the 3-way mirror, running my palms over the delicate lace bodice of my dream dress. It was the 4th fitting, and everything was finally perfect. The alterations had been made. The hem was flawless, and the train cascaded behind me like a waterfall of silk. I had imagined this moment so many times. The way I'd twirl and watch the skirt flare out. The way Mark's eyes would light up when he saw me walking toward him. The way I'd feel like the most beautiful woman in the world. But right now, all I could feel was tension knotting in my shoulders. Just a few more adjustments, sweetie, my bridal consultant Linda said, her mouth full of pins. We're almost there. Behind me, I could hear my mother making delighted sounds from her velvet chair. It's perfect, darling. You look like a princess. Like a princess who can't sit down in this thing, I joked, though my laugh came out strained. My maid of honor Maggie was perched on the chaise lounge nearby, scrolling through her phone. She'd been quieter than usual all afternoon, and I'd noticed her checking her watch twice in the last 10 minutes. Everything okay? I asked, catching her eye in the mirror. She looked up with a tight smile. Vanessa said she's on her way. She wants to see the dress before you start deconstructing. My stomach did a small flip. Vanessa had been MIA for most of the wedding planning, always too busy with her new promotion or some last-minute emergency. She hadn't even come to the bridal shower, sending a gift card with a handwritten note that felt more obligated than heartfelt. She's coming? My mother perked up, setting down her champagne flute. Oh, wonderful. She hasn't seen you in this dress yet. Mom? She's been busy, I said, the words tasting like a defense I didn't owe anyone. Busy with what, exactly? Maggie muttered under her breath, but I pretended not to hear. 20 minutes later, the boutique door chimed, and Vanessa swept in like she owned the place. She was wearing a cream-colored blazer over a silk blouse, looking like she'd just stepped out of a board meeting rather than a casual afternoon. Her blonde hair was perfectly styled, and her makeup was immaculate. I'm here, she announced, her heels clicking against the hardwood floor. Sorry I'm late. The traffic was brutal. My mother rushed over to embrace her, and I watched the familiar dynamic unfold. Vanessa was always the favorite, the one who could do no wrong. She was the younger sister, the one who still needed protection, even though we were both in our 30s. Look at you, my mother cooed. You look so professional. How's the new job? It's fantastic, Mom. The salary is incredible. Derek and I are looking at houses in the good school district. I bit the inside of my cheek. Vanessa didn't even have children, but she was already planning for them, the way she planned for everything. Always one step ahead, always making sure she came out on top. Let me see the dress, she said, finally turning to me. I stepped off the platform and spread my arms, letting her take me in. For a moment, her expression was unreadable. Then her face broke into a smile. It's lovely, really. Very you. I wasn't sure if that was a compliment or a backhanded remark, but I chose to accept it at face value. Thank you. Can you believe it's only 3 weeks away? 3 weeks, she repeated, and something flickered in her eyes. I wanted to talk to you about that, actually. My mother perked up, sensing news. What about it? Is there a problem with the rehearsal dinner reservations? No, nothing like that, Vanessa said, waving her hand dismissively. It's just, I've been thinking about Cooper, and I've decided he needs to be part of the ceremony. The temperature in the room seemed to drop by several degrees. Linda paused mid-pin, her hands hovering near my hemline. Maggie's head snapped up from her phone. Cooper? I repeated, as if I hadn't heard correctly. Your dog? At the ceremony? Well, he's my support animal, Vanessa said, her tone taking on that defensive edge I knew all too well. I've been having anxiety issues, and my therapist recommended I keep him with me during stressful situations. Weddings are stressful. Vanessa, this is a formal event, I said slowly, trying to keep my voice even. We've got a strict dress code, and there are going to be 60 people there. Your dog is not exactly trained for this environment. He's trained, she shot back. I bought him a special vest and everything. He's a service dog now. The words landed like a slap. I'd seen the Amazon delivery box arrive at her apartment. I'd watched her open it and pull out a bright blue vest with the word service printed across the side. I'd helped her assemble the dog's certification from some sketchy website that promised instant approval with no training required. Vanessa, I said carefully, you know that's not how it works. Real service dogs undergo years of training to perform specific tasks. Cooper's a great dog, but he's a pet. An emotional support animal at best, but even that requires documentation. Are you accusing me of lying? Her voice rose, and I could see the telltale redness creeping up her neck. I'm not accusing you of anything. I'm just saying that for the ceremony, given the formal setting and all the All the what? She interrupted, crossing her arms. All the people who might judge me? All the relatives who'll whisper behind my back about how I can't handle my own life? That's not what I meant. Then what did you mean? Tears were welling in her eyes now, and I watched my mother rush to her side like she always did. I'm struggling, okay? I've been struggling for months, and you don't even care. You're so wrapped up in your perfect wedding that you can't see I'm drowning. My mother wrapped an arm around Vanessa's shoulders. Sweetheart, your sister didn't mean to upset you. She's just stressed about the wedding. Mom, I'm not stressed about the wedding, I said, frustration creeping into my voice. I'm stressed because she's trying to bring an untrained dog to my formal sit-down ceremony and pretending it's a medical necessity. An untrained dog? Vanessa pulled away from my mother, her eyes flashing. Cooper is perfectly well behaved. He's been through obedience classes. He's never had an accident in the house. Accidents in the house and being a service animal are very different things. You don't understand, she said, her voice breaking. You've never understood. You've always had everything handed to you. The perfect job, the perfect fiancé, the perfect life. And now you want to take away the one thing that gives me comfort. Vanessa, I'm not taking anything away. You are, she insisted. You're making me choose between my mental health and your wedding. And you know what? If that's the choice you're forcing me to make, then maybe I shouldn't come at all. The room went silent. My mother's mouth dropped open. Maggie looked like she wanted to intervene but didn't know how. Linda had retreated to the corner, her pins forgotten. Vanessa, my mother said weakly, she doesn't mean that. No one is saying you can't come to the wedding. I'd love for you to be there, I said, my voice cracking despite my best efforts. But I need you to understand that a wedding is a formal occasion, not a casual backyard barbecue. Cooper would be a distraction. Guests might be allergic. The ceremony is only 45 minutes long. You could leave him with a sitter for that time. A sitter, she repeated, her voice dripping with disdain. So you're suggesting I just drop my emotional support animal off with a stranger for the most stressful event of the year? That's your solution? Then we could find someone you trust. No. She cut me off, holding up her hand. You know what? Forget it. I'll just stay home. That way I won't be a burden on your perfect day. She turned on her heel and marched toward the door, her heels clicking furiously against the floor. My mother called after her, but she didn't turn back. The door slammed behind her, and the mirrors in the room vibrated with the impact. For a long moment, no one spoke. I could feel the weight of my dress pressing against my shoulders, the silk suddenly suffocating. Don't worry, sweetheart, my mother finally said, her voice gentle but strained. She'll calm down. She just needs some time. But I knew my sister. When Vanessa got something in her head, she didn't let it go. And now I had a choice to make. Risk alienating my family by holding firm, or let a dog disrupt the ceremony I'd spent 18 months planning. The next morning, I woke to a series of text messages from my mother. Your sister is heartbroken. She's been crying all night. Is it really worth tearing this family apart over a dog? Another message from my aunt, whom I hadn't spoken to in months, asking if I'd really uninvited my sister from the wedding. And a third from Vanessa herself. I've posted on Facebook about what you're doing to me. I hope you're happy. The knot in my stomach tightened. I opened the app and scrolled to her profile. There it was, a lengthy post about how I was excluding her for her disability, how I didn't support her mental health struggles, how I was a bridezilla who cared more about napkin folds than my own sister. The comments were already piling up, most from people I barely knew calling me cruel and insensitive, some from mutual friends promising to reach out to Vanessa and offer support. My phone buzzed again, and I saw a message from Mark. Babe, why is your sister's entire friend group calling me to complain? I dropped my head into my hands. My wedding, the day I'd dreamed about since I was a little girl, was now a battlefield, and I had no idea how to surrender without completely losing myself in the process. The Facebook post went viral within hours, not in the way influencers dream about, but in the way that makes your stomach drop and your hands shake. By noon, over 300 people had shared it. By evening, my inbox was flooded with messages from strangers calling me every name imaginable. Ableist, cruel, heartless sister. I couldn't escape it. Every time I opened my phone, there was another notification, another comment, another person who had formed a complete opinion about me based on a one-sided story. I sat at my kitchen table, staring at the screen, the morning light doing nothing to warm the cold pit in my stomach. Mark was at work, but he'd been texting me all morning, his messages growing increasingly concerned. What's going on? Why are people tagging me in posts? What did Vanessa say? I hadn't told him the full story yet. I hadn't told anyone, really. I'd been too busy trying to process the fact that my sister, the girl I'd grown up with, the one who'd held my hair back when I was sick and covered for me when I snuck out in high school, had painted me as a monster to the world. My phone buzzed again. It was Maggie. Okay, I've been trying to stay out of this, but this is insane. She's telling people you refuse to accommodate her diagnosed anxiety disorder. She's saying you laughed at her when she asked for help, and now your mom is commenting on the post, backing her up. I felt the blood drain from my face. My mother? I scrolled back to Vanessa's post, my fingers trembling, and there it was. My mother's comment, right at the top. My daughters are both hurting right now. I hope they can find a way to heal. Vanessa, know that I support you and your needs. It wasn't explicitly taking sides, but to everyone reading, it might as well have been. My mother, the matriarch of our family, publicly supporting Vanessa's version of events. The betrayal cut deeper than anything Vanessa had done. I called my mother, my heart pounding against my ribs. She answered on the second ring. Sweetheart, I was just about to call you. Mom, what are you doing? Why are you commenting on her post? You know that's not what happened. I know, honey, I know, she said, her voice strained. But I'm trying to keep the peace here. Vanessa is in a fragile state. She's been crying all morning. I'm just trying to support both of you. You're supporting her, I said, the words coming out sharper than I intended. You're supporting her narrative. She's telling people I'm ableist, that I laughed at her, that I don't care about her mental health, and you're just validating that. Sweetheart, I'm not validating anything. I'm just trying to be a mother to both my daughters. I'm your daughter too, Mom, and right now I feel like you're choosing her. A long pause on the other end. I could hear my mother's shaky breathing, the familiar sound of her trying to hold back tears. You know I love you both equally, she finally said, but you have to understand. Vanessa's anxiety is real. She's been struggling for months. I've been taking her to appointments, sitting with her during panic attacks. This isn't something she's making up. I never said she was making it up, I replied, rubbing my temples. I said Cooper isn't a service animal. He's a pet. And bringing him to a formal wedding where he could disrupt the ceremony or trigger someone's allergies isn't fair to anyone. There's a difference between supporting her mental health and letting her walk all over my wedding. Your wedding, my mother repeated, her tone shifting. Everything is about your wedding these days, isn't it? You know, I've noticed how you've been acting, the bridezilla comments, the perfectionism, the way you've been treating your sister like an inconvenience. I felt like I'd been punched in the chest. Mom, I've been planning this wedding for a year and a half. I've included Vanessa in every step. She chose not to be involved. She's the one who missed appointments and never returned my calls. And now she's demanding to bring her dog and I'm the bad guy. All I'm saying is that you might want to consider whether this is worth losing your relationship with your sister. Maybe you should ask her the same question. The call ended with me gripping my phone so hard my knuckles turned white. I sat there for a long moment, the silence of the house pressing in around me. This wasn't how any of this was supposed to go. I was supposed to be happy, excited, ready to marry the love of my life. Instead, I felt like I was drowning in a sea of accusations and misunderstandings. Mark came home early that afternoon, his tie loosened and his eyes tired. He found me on the couch, still in my pajamas, a cup of cold coffee untouched on the side table. Okay, he said softly, sitting down beside me. Tell me everything, and I did. All of it. The dress fitting, the confrontation, the Facebook post, the comments from strangers, the conversation with my mother. By the time I finished, I was crying, great heaving sobs that shook my entire body. You're not the bad guy here, he said, pulling me into his arms. You've been reasonable. You've tried to compromise. Vanessa is the one who escalated this. But Mom, your mom is trying to keep the peace, he said gently. That doesn't mean she's right. It just means she's scared of losing one of you. I feel like I'm losing both of them, I whispered. The next few days were a blur. I tried to compartmentalize, to focus on the wedding planning and pretend everything was fine. But every time I opened social media, there was another post, another comment, another reminder that my family was in shambles. Then Vanessa's fiancé, Derek, reached out. I hadn't expected it. He and I had always been cordial, but never close. He was a quiet man, the type who let Vanessa take the lead in every conversation. Hey, I know things are rough right now, his message read, but I wanted to talk to you, alone. Do you have time for coffee tomorrow? I agreed, mostly out of curiosity. The next morning, we met at a small cafe near my office. Derek was already there when I arrived, nursing a cup of black coffee and looking more uncomfortable than I'd ever seen him. Thanks for coming, he said, as I sat down. I know this is awkward. A little, I admitted. What's going on? Is Vanessa okay? He sighed, running his hand through his hair. That's actually what I wanted to talk to you about. I know she's been difficult, and I know she's been telling people things that aren't entirely accurate. I blinked, surprised. You do? He nodded. I've been watching this unfold, and I've been trying to stay out of it because she's my fiancé and I love her, but she's not being fair to you. Then why doesn't she just talk to me? Because she's scared, he said bluntly. She's scared of being vulnerable. She's scared of admitting that maybe, just maybe, she's not handling her anxiety as well as she pretends to be. And instead of dealing with that, she's lashing out at you. I didn't know what to say. Derek was speaking more honestly about Vanessa than I'd ever heard him speak before. I'm not excusing her behavior, he continued. I'm just trying to explain it. The dog thing, it's not really about the dog. It's about control. She feels like her life is spinning out of control, and she's trying to hold on to whatever she can. Then what do? I asked. I can't just let her bring Cooper to the wedding. It's not fair to me or the other guests. I know, and I'm not asking you to do that. I'm asking you to talk to her one more time. Without the anger, without the defensiveness, just sister to sister. I thought about it for a long moment. Part of me wanted to refuse, to dig my heels in and protect what little peace I had left. But another part of me, the part that remembered the girl who used to braid my hair and share her dessert with me, wanted to try. Okay, I said finally. I'll try. That evening, I called Vanessa. She answered on the 5th ring, her voice wary. What do you want? I want to talk, I said, keeping my voice steady. Really talk, not fight. Can we do that? A long pause. Then softly. Okay. We met the next day at our mother's house, the neutral ground we'd used as children during countless sibling disputes. My mother seemed nervous, fluttering around the kitchen, making tea and offering snacks we both refused. Vanessa sat stiffly on the couch, her arms crossed, her eyes fixed on the floor. I sat across from her, my hands folded in my lap. I know we've both said things we regret, I began, and I know I've been stubborn, but I'm not trying to hurt you. I love you, Vanessa. You're my sister. She looked up, her eyes glistening. I love you too. I feel like no one sees me. No one understands what I'm going through. Then help me understand, I said softly. Tell me what's really going on. Not the dog, not the post. What's happening in your life that's making you feel so out of control? For a moment, I thought she'd deflect. Her walls were high, always had been, but then something broke. Her shoulders sagged and her composure crumbled like a sandcastle hit by a wave. I lost my job, she whispered. 3 months ago? I've been hiding it from everyone because I was so ashamed. Mom doesn't even know. I felt my heart crack. Vanessa, why didn't you tell me? Because I'm supposed to be the successful one, she said, her voice breaking. You've always been the responsible one, the stable one, the one who had everything figured out. And I was just chaos. I wanted to prove that I could handle it on my own. But you don't have to handle it on your own, I said. That's what family is for. She broke down then, sobbing into her hands. I moved to sit beside her, wrapping my arms around her shoulders. I'm sorry, she choked out. I'm so sorry. The post, the comments, the way I treated you. I was lashing out because I didn't know how else to cope. It's okay, I whispered, though a part of me knew it wasn't entirely. We're going to figure this out, together. We talked for hours after that, the three of us. My mother was shocked by the revelation about Vanessa's job, and she apologized for not seeing the signs. Vanessa admitted that Cooper was her comfort animal, that she depended on him more than she'd ever admitted. She also acknowledged that she'd exaggerated her needs to get what she wanted, something she was deeply ashamed of. I just felt so small, she said, and making you the villain made me feel big. I understand, I said, but we can't keep doing this to each other. We're sisters. We're supposed to be on the same team. So what happens now? My mother asked. With the wedding? Vanessa and I exchanged a look. We'll figure something out, I said, but we'll do it together. For the first time in weeks, I felt like maybe, just maybe, we could salvage this. The drama wasn't over. Not by a long shot, but at least we were talking. At least we were trying. And that, I realized, was the most important part. Let's go for a walk, Vanessa suggested. Just the two of us. I want to tell you more about what's been going on. I nodded, and we stepped out into the cool afternoon air. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. It was beautiful, peaceful, almost like a sign that things might be okay. I missed you, Vanessa said, her voice barely above a whisper. I missed my big sister. I missed you too, I replied. And I meant it. We walked in silence for a while, the past few weeks of anger and resentment slowly beginning to dissolve with each step. I didn't know where things would go from here, but I knew I wanted my sister in my life. Can I still be your maid of honor? Vanessa asked shyly. Of course you can, I said. Who else would I trust to hold my bouquet? She laughed, and it was the first genuine laugh I'd heard from her in months. My heart swelled with hope. Things weren't perfect, but they were moving in the right direction. Then my phone buzzed in my pocket. It was Mark. Hey, I just got a weird email from the wedding venue. They're asking about a dog on the guest list. Did you change something? I frowned. No, I didn't change anything. Let me call them. I made a quick call to the venue coordinator, my voice bright with relief that things were finally settling down. But the conversation took a sharp turn. I'm so sorry, the coordinator said, sounding genuinely apologetic. We have a strict policy about unregistered animals. The request came through your guest list with the name Cooper attached. If this dog isn't a certified service animal, we can't allow it on the premises, and we might have to cancel the booking entirely. I felt the world tilt beneath me. What? No, there must be a mistake. I didn't request that. According to our records, the request came from your account. It was submitted last night. I looked at Vanessa, who was watching me with wide, confused eyes. I turned back to the phone, my heart racing. I need to check something, I said. Let me call you back. I hung up and stared at the phone. Last night, Vanessa had been with me at our mother's house, but her phone had been in her bag the whole time, and she'd been oddly protective of it. Vanessa, I said slowly. Did you log into my wedding account last night? Her face went pale. What? No, why would I do that? I don't know, I said, my voice shaking, but someone did. Someone submitted a request for Cooper to be at the venue, and it came from my account. For a long moment, she said nothing. Then her eyes filled with tears again, and my heart sank. I was trying to fix things, she whispered. I thought if I could just get him approved, it would be easier. I didn't mean to. You went behind my back, I said, the words coming out hollow. After everything we just talked about, you went behind my back. Please, let me explain. There's nothing to explain, I said, my voice breaking. I thought we were fixing this. I thought we were making progress. But you just couldn't let it go, could you? Sophia, wait. I turned away from her, my heart pounding in my ears. We had come so far in just a few hours. And now, just like that, it was all falling apart again. The trust I'd so carefully rebuilt was shattered into a million pieces, and I didn't know if I had the strength to put it back together one more time. I walked away from Vanessa that evening without looking back. My legs carried me down the familiar streets of our childhood neighborhood, past the old oak tree where we'd carved our initials, past the playground where we'd spent countless summer afternoons. Each landmark felt like an accusation, a reminder of everything we'd built together and everything she'd just torn down. My phone buzzed relentlessly in my pocket. Vanessa, then my mother, then Vanessa again. I silenced it and kept walking until my feet hurt and the sky had darkened to a deep navy blue. When I finally made it back to my house, Mark was waiting on the front porch, his face etched with worry. Hey, he said softly, rising to meet me. I've been trying to call you. What happened? I collapsed into his arms, the tears I'd been holding back finally spilling over. She logged into my wedding account. She submitted a request for Cooper to be at the venue without telling me. After we had that whole conversation, after she promised she was done with all of this, She went behind my back anyway. Mark held me tighter, his hand rubbing slow circles on my back. I'm so sorry. I know how much you wanted to fix things with her. I thought we were fixing things, I said, my voice muffled against his chest. I thought she actually meant it this time. But she can't let go. She can't let me have one day that isn't about her. We went inside, and I spent the rest of the evening in a fog. I didn't answer my mother's calls. I didn't read Vanessa's texts. I just sat on the couch, staring at the wall, wondering how everything had gone so wrong so quickly. The next morning, I woke up with a clarity I hadn't felt in weeks. I was done. Done with the drama, done with the manipulation, done with trying to please everyone at the expense of my own happiness. This was my wedding, my day, and I was going to have it the way I wanted, regardless of what anyone else thought. I called the venue coordinator first thing in the morning and explained the situation. The request was submitted without my authorization. Please cancel it immediately. Of course, she said. I'm so sorry you're dealing with this. We'll make sure everything is back to how it was. Next, I called my mother. She answered on the first ring. Sophia, thank goodness. Vanessa told me what happened. She's devastated. She said you won't even talk to her. Mom, stop, I said, my voice firm but not angry. I love you, and I know you're trying to keep the peace, but I need you to listen to me for once. Vanessa went behind my back. She logged into my account without permission and tried to override my decision about my wedding. After she promised me she was done with all of this, my mother was quiet for a long moment. I know, she told me she's very sorry. She's always sorry, I said. But being sorry doesn't fix anything. It doesn't undo what she did, and it doesn't change the fact that she's been manipulating this whole situation from the start. Sophia, she's your sister. I know she's my sister, I said, my voice cracking. That's why this hurts so much. But I can't keep doing this. I can't keep letting her steamroll over me and then pretending everything is fine. If she wants to be part of my life, she needs to earn that trust back. And right now, she hasn't done that. My mother sighed, and I could hear the tears in her voice. What do you want me to do? I want you to stop taking sides, I said. I want you to stop enabling her. I want you to tell her that what she did was wrong and that she needs to make it right. Not just say sorry, but actually do something to fix it. I'll talk to her, my mother said quietly. I promise. Thank you, Mom. The next few days were strange. There was a void where the drama used to be, an emptiness that felt both peaceful and unsettling. I focused on the wedding planning, checking off the last few items on my to-do list. Mark was supportive, handling the phone calls and emails I couldn't face. Then, 3 days before the wedding, Vanessa showed up at my door. She looked smaller than I remembered. Her shoulders hunched, her eyes red-rimmed. She was holding a box wrapped in brown paper. Can I come in? She asked, her voice barely above a whisper. I hesitated, but something in her expression made me step aside. She walked into the living room and sat down on the couch, placing the box on the coffee table. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, she began. I know I've messed up, again and again, and I keep doing it, and I don't know why. I sat across from her, my arms crossed, my guard up. Why are you here, Vanessa? She took a shaky breath. I wanted to give you this, and I wanted to tell you that I'm getting help, real help. I found a therapist, and I've been going twice a week. I'm also seeing a psychiatrist to figure out my medication. I know it doesn't fix what I did, but it's a start. I looked at the box, then back at her. What's in the box? Open it. I unwrapped the brown paper carefully, revealing a simple wooden box with a carved lid. Inside was a stack of letters tied together with a faded ribbon. What are these? I asked. Letters, she said. I wrote them over the past few days, about everything, about how I felt when I lost my job, about how jealous I've always been of you, about how I've been using Cooper as a crutch because I was too scared to face my problems. I wanted you to know the whole truth, the ugly truth, all of it. I pulled out the top letter and began to read. Her handwriting was messy, the letters uneven, and I could see where tears had smudged the ink. Dear Sophia, I've been lying to myself for years. I told myself I was happy, that I had everything together, that I didn't need anyone. But the truth is, I've been drowning, and I've been dragging you down with me. I read page after page, each one more raw and honest than the last. She talked about the pressure she felt to be perfect, about the way she'd always compared herself to me, about the anxiety that had been eating away at her since college. I always thought you had it so easy, she wrote. You were the golden child. The one who never struggled. But looking back, I realized that wasn't true. You just handled it differently. You didn't let your problems consume you. You faced them head on. I was just too jealous to see that. I looked up at her, my eyes burning with unshed tears. Vanessa, I didn't know you felt this way. Of course you didn't, she said. I never told you. I was too proud, too scared, but I'm done being scared. I'm done letting my anxiety control me and hurt the people I love. She reached over and took my hand. I'm not asking you to forgive me right away. I know I don't deserve that, but I'm asking you to give me a chance to prove that I can be better, that I can be the sister you deserve. I sat there for a long moment, the weight of her words settling over me. Part of me wanted to stay angry, to hold on to the hurt and use it as armor. But another part of me, the part that still remembered the girl who shared her ice cream and defended me against bullies, wanted to believe her. Okay, I said softly. Okay. Her face crumpled with relief, and she threw her arms around me, sobbing into my shoulder. I'm so sorry, she whispered. I'm so sorry for everything. I know, I said. I know. We stayed like that for a long time, holding each other, letting the years of hurt and misunderstanding slowly begin to heal. The wedding day arrived, and it was everything I'd dreamed of and more. The sun shone brightly, the flowers were perfect, and the guests mingled happily on the lawn of the venue. Vanessa stood beside me as my maid of honor, her eyes shining with tears as I walked down the aisle toward Mark. She'd kept Cooper at home with a trusted sitter, and she'd made sure to let me know that she was okay. We'd had a long conversation the night before, where she admitted that the dog had become a security blanket, something she'd convinced herself she couldn't live without. I'm going to work on being okay with just myself, she'd said. It's going to take time, but I'll get there. You will, I told her, and I'll be here to help. The ceremony was beautiful, the vows heartfelt, and when Mark kissed me at the altar, I felt like the luckiest woman in the world. The reception was filled with laughter and dancing, and for the first time in months, I felt completely at peace. Vanessa gave a toast that had everyone in tears, her voice cracking as she spoke about our shared childhood and the challenges we'd overcome. To my sister, she said, raising her glass, the strongest, most forgiving person I know, I love you, and I'm so honored to stand by your side today. I raised my glass in return, my heart full. To family, I said, in all its messy, complicated, beautiful glory. The next morning, I woke up in our hotel room, Mark's arm draped over me, the morning light filtering through the curtains. I reached for my phone and saw a text from Vanessa. Thank you for giving me another chance. I won't let you down again. Love you, sis, I smiled, tears pricking at my eyes. The road ahead wouldn't always be easy. There would be setbacks and arguments, moments of doubt and frustration, but we'd taken the first step. We'd chosen each other. And that, I realized, was the most important thing of all. I typed out my reply. I love you too, Vanessa. Always. Then I set down my phone, turned to Mark, and let myself enjoy the perfect start to our new life together. The drama was over, but what remained was something far more precious: hope. In the months that followed, Vanessa continued her therapy, and we made a point of meeting for coffee every week. She got a new job, one that suited her skills and made her happy. She also started volunteering at an animal shelter, channeling her love for animals into something productive and fulfilling. I'm not perfect, she told me one afternoon. I still have bad days, but I'm learning to deal with them without making everyone else miserable. That's all I ever wanted, I said. Not perfection, just effort. We hugged, and I felt the last of the resentment melt away. Sometimes the greatest gifts come wrapped in the most painful packages. My sister's betrayal had forced us to confront the cracks in our relationship, to dig up the roots of our dysfunction, and to rebuild something stronger in its place. Our family would never be perfect, but maybe perfection was overrated. Maybe what mattered was the willingness to keep trying, to keep showing up, to keep choosing each other even when it was hard. I looked around the coffee shop, at the barista making lattes, the couple laughing in the corner, the sunlight streaming through the windows. Life was messy and complicated, but it was also beautiful, and I wouldn't have had it any other way.